taking off like a Boeing. If the volume spikes, then it's time to trade. Mighty 90 setting up, it's time to get paid. Dr. Chad on the mic, time to get focused. We don't need any indicator, hocus pocus. It's all about the price, just watch it move. Manage your risks so you don't lose. First hour of trading is all we need. Focus on the patience and forget about greed.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's day trading live stream. Today is Wednesday, March 12th. Is it March? Yeah, it's March. S&P post CPI is up 55. NASDAQ up 288. Russell up 21. Dow up 230. Gold is down 0.25%. Silver's up almost 1%. Notes and bonds are both down about 0.25%. 10-year yields up 0.79. Oil up over 1.5%. Natty gas down over 5.5%. All the grains are red. Euro and the pound both down a little bit. Bitcoin slightly green. VIX, nice contraction after the CPI report, down almost 5%. At the freeze, sitting at 25.61. So CPI came in a little cooler than expected. NASDAQ has been kind of chopping around yesterday's high. Had a little push up right when the data came out, and it's kind of pulled back, chopping around yesterday's high. The S&P not quite as strong. It pushed above yesterday's high, but contracted back below and has not pushed back above. So tech definitely the strongest, primarily semiconductors. SMH is the strongest sector ETF. Regional banks and financials are also strong. Cryptos were strong. Bitcoin coming down a little bit, but Robinhood is up nicely. Nvidia is pushing into the open along with some of the other chip stocks. Netflix is at its pre-market highs. So Tesla is pushing into the open. It's like opening, or excuse me, the expected range in SPX is going to be a little over 61. It was 67 yesterday, to add a little context. Abosh, no, I don't really trade that way. I will take some day trades, and every once in a while I will hold a part of it overnight for maybe a couple days, but then I have some stocks long term. But no, I don't have any ideas for just buying for 1 to 2 weeks personally. Not that there's anything wrong with it, just not my style. Opening bell in 20 seconds. So I didn't put it on my positions and update list this morning, but Rick will technically qualify. There's probably going to be 0 to little upside profit. I'll let my bot fire just in case we have a quick down move, but I will most likely close it early. There's the opening bell. Apple just went red. Expected move $62 in SPX. Expected move in NDX is 256.7. VIX has not made its first print yet. Meta is strong. Nvidia strong. Apple weak. Baba and Baidu are both red. Netflix strong. Robinhood holding up. Coinbase now pushing. And I got filled on my Rick. Let me take a look at this thing. Filled at 1875. Yeah, almost no upside profit. I'm not even going to post it because I don't want anybody new trying to take it that it doesn't understand it. I'll be closing it out here shortly. Just see if we happen to get a little bit of a flush first. NASDAQ holding above yesterday's high. S&P now pushing above yesterday's high. Netflix up almost 3%. Consumer staples and healthcare a little bit red. Every other sector green. The greenest of the green. IONQ's up 11%. APP up 11%. Sound. So some of these junky high flyers are up big this morning. SMCI's up 8. Hood's up 8. Tesla's up 7.5. Apple trying to get back positive. MU pushing up 6.5%. Weakest stocks on my list. Verizon is down another 3.5%. Had a big upswing for a few days and gave it all back plus some here the last few days. Lockheed Martin's down 2%. Chinese stocks are down. Apple trying to get back positive. Chips are pushing. MU, NVIDIA, AMD, AVGO, TSM, all extending gains higher. S&P having troubles pushing through yesterday's high. Apple having troubles going green. Chips having no problems going green. Bosch, not a blackout day for me. No. I personally like to directionally trade on CPI days, but I won't, I'll still sell premium if things shape up and start chopping. No other news on the docket. Let's see. Let's check the Trump calendar. President greets the Toy Siege of Ireland. I'm not sure what Toy Siege means. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but that's at 10:45. It doesn't look like too much coming out of the White House today either. SPX staying below yesterday's high. Tesla, NVIDIA, strong. Got a minute left on our second 5-minute bar. I don't see any volume. Let me know if you guys see any volume bars that look like they're getting higher than the first. I don't see any. Maybe BABA is getting close for a downside. BABA's not going to get there, but I'll take a short in BABA if we get a bounce back up to that pre-market low. I mean, the actual pre-market lows at 2 a.m. were below yesterday's low, but if we get a little bounce, I'll take a short in BABA, a little downside runner. Put it over here so you can see what I'm saying. So if we bounce basically back up to this white line, which is yesterday's open, that little pre-market bottom right there. Volume didn't quite get there, but pretty close. Chinese stocks are weak today, so I like that. Microsoft kind of fell. Still green, but not by much. It's up 0.25%. Well, BABA's continuing lower, didn't give any kind of a bounce. I'd love to see the indices flush and then see which stocks hold up best for potential longs. Yeah, you've got Tesla holding highs, you've got Nvidia holding highs. ELTR pulling back yet at pre-market highs. I don't like that BABA already flushed and now it's bouncing back up. So I'm not going to take a short in BABA now. I wanted to see it bounce first, then flush. Amazon holding above yesterday's high. Meta holding near highs of day. Yeah, you could, Lando, you could certainly take a pre-market high trade off PLTR. I'm going to be a little bit more patient here. SPX still chopping within its first 5-minute bar. I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, here's a little downside coming in. So Meta's holding up well on this downside. Everything else is kind of pulling back with the market. Meta kind of pulling back now too. Microsoft going red, Apple going red, BABA is more red. Yeah, you tend to get shooken out on those early ones more. On the pre-market highs, I've really liked to, I mean, I'll take them early, but I would want to see S&P kind of, it was in such a tight range to start with. So I've done a little better on being a little bit more patient on those as well. So Meta pulled back to pre-market highs and it's bouncing. A little bounce in SPX and Meta could take off here. Look at that relative strength compared to the indices. Little bounce in the indices, Meta quick bounce. Same with Tesla. Uber coming down hard. Chip stocks holding up pretty well. See if this market's going to give another flush. Microsoft trying to stay green. Right at unchanged. Same with Apple. Yeah, MU, all the chip stocks are holding up pretty well. Netflix also still strong. Amazon couldn't hold yesterday's high. Either could coin. Bitcoin is only up a little bit. It's only up 1/3%. Netflix pushing through highs of day. Uber is coming down hard. Uber's almost going red after being up quite a bit. NASDAQ pushing through lows. S&P still coming down. Meta's down to pre-market highs, but it's coming down. Netflix is holding up the best, it looks like, with this little down move. How low is she going to go? That's the question. Apple red, Microsoft red. My RIC is up about 7% currently. MSTR down to unchanged, coin down to unchanged, Bitcoin just went red. All right. I'm looking at AVGO. I want to get long one of these chip stocks. AVGO looks like it wants to hold its pre-market high. Trading the 2-day options today. I'm looking at the 200 calls in AVGO, giving it just a minute here. See if this market's going to bounce. All right, 200 calls in AVGO. Got my finger on the trigger, just waiting to see if we hold here. These little bounces in the indices are getting whack-a-moled a little bit. No entry yet. Good back down to yesterday's high. Microsoft tried to go green again, couldn't hold. Yeah, MU had a nice little pop. Nvidia's holding. All the chips are still holding pretty well, but I want to see if this market's going to continue a little bit lower. Still watching AVGO. Here, let me put it over here. AVGO. Still just holding right at pre-market highs. That's kind of using that pre-market high as my line in the sand here. Watching how it reacts when the market kind of moves lower versus bounces. NASDAQ coming down through lows, S&P through lows. Netflix pulled back. Apple, Microsoft, both still at unchanged. Tesla coming down back below where it opened today. Uber extending into the red. Same with MSTR and Coin. Bitcoin now down 0.75%. NDX could not hold yesterday's high. coming down a little bit. VIX climbing back up to yesterday's lows, currently at 26.15. Apple going green, Microsoft staying red. Now we got some chips coming down. SMCI is coming down. NVIDIA is coming down a little bit. AMD is coming down through lows of day. MU's still holding up pretty well. MU's definitely holding up the best. TSM holding up pretty well too, as far as the chips. TSM bounced off pre-market highs. Let's look at TSM instead of AVGO. It's holding up better. TSM or MU? I like the pre-market high line in the sand on TSM. I'd be trading the 177.5 calls in TSM. Starting to bounce. $177.5 calls in TSM, getting in. Filled at 254. So you see how it kind of led, the market's bounced a tiny bit, but it started bouncing more. It's right at pre-market highs. So if I get a 5-minute close below pre-market highs, I would bail. Don't see any mighty 90s on that little flush. I'll put my first profit target at 290 on TSM. It's going to have to push through highs of day to hit that. This market may not be done with downside yet. Chips are definitely holding up well. Well, not all of them. I mean, AMD ticked through lows. So on a relative strength basis, TSM and MU definitely the strongest. AVGO is holding up pretty well. NVIDIA is holding up pretty well also. Netflix, which was holding up pretty well, is getting a little bit toppy. I like Tesla too. I want to get involved in Tesla here if I can. It's looking like it wants to rebound. It's just been beaten up so much. It's currently right above pre-market highs. If we hold here, I might get long Tesla. I'd be looking at the 250 calls in Tesla. Just going to be watching it for a minute. MU through highs of day, Chad, you still holding? Market staying a little bit weak on the indices. SMCI starting to catch a bounce again. SPX through lows, NDX through lows. I guess I'll just keep holding my Rick as long as we're going down. It's up 14%. ESM hit 290. Tesla's starting to pop. All right, I'm going to get in Tesla. 250 calls. Filled at 830. Looks like it wants to run. Using pre-market highs as my line in the sand here. Indices just started to bounce a little bit. Tesla really popped. Good relative strength. Coin trying to go green. Microsoft back in the green. I'll put my first profit target in Tesla at 930. Should be a little above high of day. Let's go. Rip it. Rip, baby, rip. Rip, baby, rip. Come on, come on, come on. Rip, baby, rip. Let's see. I got out of my first tranche of TSM at 290. I'll put another profit target at 340 in TSM. That makes another pop. A little bounce in the market. NDX back above yesterday's high. Oh yeah, Netflix, nice bounce off yesterday's high. Need Tesla to pop through highs of day. I accidentally went a little smaller than I meant to on Tesla. My math wasn't working on that one. Well, it ticked up right to highs of day. Didn't pop through yet. ESM still holding at highs, still continuing. Meta popping back up. Chinese stocks staying weak. Baidu at lows. Amazon trying to get back above yesterday's high. TSM holding up really well. Seen a little pullback in a couple of the chips. MU pulled back a couple bars. AMD is just super choppy, no continuation. NVIDIA pretty choppy as well. Meta kind of has that look like it may want to take off today. All right, we got a little dip in the market. Chips having a little pullback. Didn't quite get to my second profit target in TSM. Everything's kind of pulling back on this dip in the indices. Watching Tesla, see if it reacts off that pre-market high again. I'm gonna I got in a little bit smaller than I wanted to, so I'm gonna just add a few in Tesla here if it holds. If not, I'll take a loss that was smaller than intended, which would be okay. Made that quick push above pre-market highs. I thought Tesla may want to take off, but this market is just still not ready to fully squeeze. Close my Rick for just a small profit. All right, so much lower in Tesla. I'm just going to cut it. No continuation on that bounce. Watching Tesla. S&P, NASDAQ approaching lows of day. Still have part of my TSM. Tesla had that pullback on the last bar, but not participating in any further downside with the S&P and NASDAQ. Apple and Microsoft back in the red, Coin back in the red, MSTR back in the red. Baba and Bitey through lows of day. Yeah, well, just like I did with my early one, I always let them fire and then I'll close early. Yeah, I doubt the upside profit will be enough for the profit target, but all right, I'm bailing on Tesla. Out at 653. TSM is back down to its pre-market highs. I'll give it a little breathing room. Canada to work with Europe to put pressure on Trump administration. Ooh, good luck with that. AVGO ticked through lows of day, bouncing off yesterday's high. Tesla rebounded. Like these chip stocks, they want to go higher, but they're just getting held back right now. Microsoft is acting like it doesn't want to stay red. Keeps wicking the reds. Trying to get back into the green. TSM bouncing back up. Well, I'm going to wrap the live stream up here. Still in my TSM. Hit first profit target. Tesla I cut out of. Looks like it may get back above that pre-market high. It's pretty choppy though. I really got in based on that little surge. It looked like we might be ready to take off when the market started to bounce, but then the market fizzled out, so no extension. So if things start getting more interesting, I might take a couple more trades, but as of right now, fairly down to choppy. So with that, we'll wrap things up. Everybody have a good rest of your day. We'll see you in Power Hour. Take care.